Anupam, one thing that I hope everyone knows, but I'm just saying, is that it's not that through Shark Tank that you started investing in businesses. You have made some very category creating wale businesses. You've invested very early on for many, many years. And you've got it right many, many times in a very big way. How do you spot?
I have to be honest. I don't think there is any particular formula that has made me succeed in some of my investments. I've been early to the game. I think that's one huge contributing factor. I've been opportunistic. बनिया खून है तो कोई अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी दिखती थी, हम खुद तो कर नहीं सकते, चलो यार थोड़े बहुत पैसे लगेंगे तो डाल देते हैं. Many of the companies are invested in early. At that point, valuations of 5-10 crores. तो 30-40 लाख 50 लाख में 5% मिल जाता था, right? So it was a very different game. Of course, the world has changed. So my investing journey has also changed. Earlier on, I didn't even know it was called angel investing. Angels, though, after you die, you become, is what I used to think. Lekin ab samajh mein aane laga, things became a little more organized in my head. So broadly, it's still the same three things, right? It's team, timing, and TAM. Timing, I think we kind of already spoke about, right? I'll give you another example. Apple became the most successful company in the world. Why? It was not the first handheld device. A lot of people think it was. There was Palm Pilot before it. But Apple became the most successful because of timing. When Apple launched, the internet on telecom networks was ubiquitous. So it could have an app store. That's what made Apple as successful as it did, right? The first time you were seeing apps on your phone, or in a way that you could consume them in a very friendly manner, right? So timing we spoke about. I think team is interesting because everybody says team. We invest in good teams, or we look out for teams. But obviously, you want to invest in great teams because, I've never heard anybody say, I'm looking for a bad team. Can you show me a bad team to invest in? Right? But what does a great team mean? Right? That's a good question. What does it look like? So for us, what we figured out is there are 3-4 things that matter. One is learning agility. And again, that sounds a little esoteric. So I'll explain what I mean. That when we have meetings with founders, तो काफी brainstorming होती है ideas के बारे में. We figure out that the winners or the guys who are going to build value, they come back within 3-4 days, either seeking more input on that, on particular items, or having already factored in their product and iterated it to a point that, wow, we tried this, but it didn't work, and we tried this, but it works so well. So they move very quickly. They learn very quickly. So in our 2-3 weeks of interaction, we're able to see that learning agility, right? So that's going to be very critical because early stage में आपको बहुत सीखना है, बहुत pivot करना है, and बहुत adapt करना है. The second, and this is very underrated, and a lot of people are not, चलो Bombay है तो maybe it's Mumbai is है तो ठीक है, but Bangalore में people will hate me for this. But I'll say it anyway. Business acumen, right? धंधे वाली बात होती है ना कि मुनाफा क्या होता है, sales क्या होता है, always be closing. वो बात is very different than building great products. Like Bangalore guys build great products, right? I've always said. But Mumbai में असली धंधा समझ में आता है लोगों को, दिल्ली में भी, right? And the best product does not always win. You'll see that again and again and again. In fact, when you are a great product manager as a founder, it's very easy whenever धंधा नहीं आ रहा है ना, you go towards the product and get your dopamine hits from there, right? You start making one more version, one more iteration. कुछ होता नहीं है उससे, right? But it's easy to hide under that, hide away behind that. So I think business acumen, right, is something that we really look for. And the third thing that we think defines a great team is long-term chemistry and commitment. कि ये एक दूसरे को कब से जानते हैं? एक साल से जानते हैं तो यार, I don't want to get involved in what I call relationship risk, है ना? If they have worked together for a few years, then that risk is out. And will they be long-term committed? क्योंकि इंडिया में, at least I've seen, अभी शायद 10 साल हो गया, लेकिन पहले तो 20 साल लगता था to make a अच्छी खासी company, right? So I think these are the things we check off for. And one more thing I said, TAM,
TAM generally कई new businesses products का होता नहीं है. So you have to look for adjacencies and proxies. And a lot of times the founder himself does not know क्या TAM बनेगा. But you as an investor can figure out कि बाद में इसकी जाके adjacency ये बन सकती है. So I think if some of this check off, then that sort of works.
जिनके मन में होगा कि अनुपम मित्तल हम में इन्वेस्ट करे, तो वो क्या चीज है कि 30 सेकंड मिले इनको तो ये आपका अटेंशन ग्रैब कर सकते हैं.
In one word, you have to stand out, right? But that again is, spiritual guru का जो आंसर होता है ना, उसमें कोई आंसर ही नहीं होता है, वो वाला टाइप का आंसर. You have to stand out. But how do I stand out, right? Is a little tricky, but I'll give you an example. If you came to me and you said, Anupam, can you listen to me? I have figured out how to make the next big social media company. You probably won't get any attention, right? But if you changed that a little bit, and you said, Anupam, I've figured out how to build the next big social media company and solve the cold start problem, I'll probably turn around and look at you, because now I know that you know what is the biggest problem to building a social network. You've already in one sentence given me level 2, which means you've been thinking about it a little deeply, right? So that would get my attention. Another way you could stand out is come and tell me, I have a 5 crore a month or 2 crore a month revenue company with 20% EBITDA and I'm bootstrapped. I'd love you for that. But then you probably won't need me.